All right, so we back again tonight, all day for another segment. Let's get straight to it. So, got let's see here. Khalil Mack, he intends to play in 2026. That's what he informed. Impending free agent is priority for Chargers. Chargers wants to get this deal done by Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack will be back for a 13th NFL season. The three-time All-Pro pass rusher intends to play in 2026. NFL Network insider Ian Rapport reported Monday the decision to keep suiting up was not always a certainty for the likely cat and bound outside linebacker. But a week out from free agency, he's decided he's not quit. He's not quite done terrorizing quarterbacks. Report added that the Los Angeles Chargers, who have employed Mack the past 4 years, consider him a priority to re-sign. Newly 35, Mack missed 5 games last season, in large part due to a early elbow injury, but he still produced, totaling 32 tackles, 5.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and a safety. He fits in nicely with fellow edge Tuli Pelutu, a first-time Pro Bowler in 2025 who fine-tuned his craft learning alongside Mack. However, there will certainly be suitors hoping to lure Mack away from sunny LA should the Chargers not work out a deal with him ahead of free agency. Even this far into his illustrious career, Mack is still dangerous enough to earn the number 37 spot on Greg Rosenthal's list of top 101 free agents. A former Defensive Player of the Year winner, Khalil Mack was a member of the 2010s All-Decade team and has made 9 Pro Bowls. His only misses outside his rookie season being 2 campaigns abbreviated by injury in 2021 and 2025. He currently sits 7th among African players with 113 sacks. Given his pedigree, pass rushing prowess, and elevated knack for stopping the run at his position, Mack is a fit for nearly any defensive system. And although he's been a full-time starter his entire career, he could be easily dangerous coming off the edge fresh as part of a rotation. 7 days from now, clubs can enter into negotiations with available players. Mack will be a one to watch, as he has been his entire career. All righty. Well, this is an interesting one. Commanders releasing cornerback Marshon Lattimore after just 11 games with the team. Let's see.
That he is going to be released. This is a guy that they acquired via trade a couple of years ago. This has never really worked out. And then he got injured last season, tore his ACL. So a disappointing tenure in Washington for Lattimore, who will now look for work elsewhere, while the Commanders, who had plenty of cap space in the first place, saving $18.5 million in space with this move.
All right. So it's another high-profile cornerback is hitting the free agent market. The Washington Commanders have informed cornerback Marshon Lattimore that they are releasing him. NFL Network insider Ian Rapport reported Monday Lattimore played the past season and changed for the Commanders after being sent over by the New Orleans Saints near the 2024 trade deadline. The 2017 first-round pick appeared in 11 games for Washington with 131 tackles, 10 passes defensed, a fumble recovery, and an interception, sitting in the top 5 in available salary cap space. The Commanders are flush with cash to rectify a 5-12 campaign that was as surprising as it was disappointing. Lattimore had 1 year remaining on his deal, and his release provides the club $18.5 million in cap savings without a dead money hit. The franchise made sense for a split, as did Lattimore's diminished play before tearing his ACL in Week 9. Lattimore, who turns 30 in May, was far less sticky in coverage than he'd been in his prime in the value. His 2025 51.2 coverage grade and 52.1 overall defensive grade from PFF ranked 99th and 96th among CB cornerbacks, respectively, and represented the lowest marks of his 9-year career. After finishing 28th against the pass in 2025, the Commanders appear to be headed for a reset at corner. Mike, I don't want to mess up his name. Mike Sainristil, the team's interception leader last season, remains, but 4 cornerbacks on the roster are slated to hit free agency. Now, free to find a third NFL home, Lattimore figures to have a market in the later waves of signings. He's still rehabbing from his knee injury and has lost a step, but possesses important veteran know-how as a 4-time Pro Bowler. Some defense will be the perfect fit to bring him in as a depth piece. Yeah, I mean, I think Marshon Lattimore still got it. I mean, he played his when he left New Orleans, he was still pretty solid. I mean, he didn't show up for the Redskins or for the Commanders. So obviously that's why they're releasing him. But I think he still got some stuff left in the tank. It was more than likely it was just the team that he was on the system. I think if he fits goes into the right situation, goes to the right team with the right defensive coordinator, the right defense. Some players that can complement his playing style. Marshawn Lattimore should be back to how he was, unless he just completely just lost it. He doesn't have anymore. But I don't think that's true. He's a pretty good corner. Let's see here. Oh yeah, this one is a very important news right here. Linebackers trading running back David Montgomery to the Texans in exchange for offensive lineman Juice Scruggs, multiple draft picks. Let's see what we got.
You don't just
So ads over. The Detroit Lions are breaking up Sonic and Knuckles. The Lions have agreed to trade running back David Montgomery to the Houston Texans in exchange for offensive lineman Juice Scruggs, a 4th-round pick and a 7th-round selection. Montgomery has been the subject of trade rumors following a down season in which the Lions lean more heavily on starter Jahmyr Gibbs in 2025, despite playing in 17 games for the first time in his career. Montgomery earned a career-low 716 yards on 158 carries with 8 touchdowns. Conversely, Gibbs saw 243 totes, going for 1,223 yards. Please know this. Everything I do next carries a piece of Detroit with it. Montgomery posted on his social media account after the trade news. The work ethic, the edge, the heart. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for pushing me. Thank you for walking this chapter with me. Following the season during which the Lions finished 4th in the NFC North, word spread that Montgomery was frustrated with his role in the offense and hoped to find a landing spot where he could see a heavier workload. And so here he is in Houston. The Texans struggled to find traction on the ground in 2025, tied for 29th at 3.9 yards per attempt. The issue in Houston were twofold: an offensive line that struggled to create holes and a running back group that proved inconsistent. With Joe Mixon out all season, the Texans leaned on rookie Woody Marks, who flashed playmaking ability but was inefficient in generating 3.6 yards per carry on a team-high 196 votes. Veteran Nick Chubb earned 506 yards on 120 carries and 15 games with 3 scores, but is still slowed by his devastating 2023 knee injury. Yeah, Nick Chubb has never been the same since that knee injury. Sucks. Well, Nick Chubb was a monster. The Texans were particularly woeful in short yardage and goal line situations. A gritty runner, Montgomery is a trusty plow who can run through arm tackles and consistently falls forward. He is also capable as an outlet receiver. Montgomery should immediately aid in the red zone. Since 2023, Montgomery has generated 33 rushing scores, 6th among running backs. The Texans in that same span have 34 rushing touchdowns, tied for 5th fewest per NFL research. Pairing Montgomery and Marks gives a good 1-2 punch out of the backfield. The offensive line, however, still needs upgrading. In addition to shipping out Scruggs, a former 2nd-round pick who started just 1 game in 2025, the Texans traded versatile starter Titus Howard to Cleveland on Monday. Montgomery has 2 years remaining on his contract with base salaries of $5.49 million in 2026 and $7.49 million in 2027, but no guaranteed money remain. The move saves the Lions roughly $3.5 million on the cap. Later on Monday, Detroit saved an additional $5.5 million in cap space by releasing Lone Times offensive lineman Graham Glasgow. The trade breaks up one of the most potent backfield combinations in the NFL. It signals a massive workload for Gibbs at this point. The former 4th-rounder Sion Vaki, the main backup remaining on the roster, Detroit is now on the market for a low-cost bruiser in free agency or in the draft to pair with Gibbs. The 23-year-old is also eligible for an extension. The addition of Scruggs, who didn't live up to his draft status in Houston, gives the Lions another option on their interior of an O-line that needed rehabbing this offseason. It's a decent flyer of Detroit general manager Brad Holmes, but shouldn't hinder further upgrades, especially considering Glasgow's departure. The Lions added 2 additional picks to the 8 they already owned in 2026, but still have just 2 in the top 100 selections. Okay. Interesting. Let's see. It's taking a while for the video to upload.
Sonic and Knuckles never won that ring. David Montgomery has a new home. Sonic and Knuckles never won that ring together. Now Montgomery will be pursuing it in Houston. GM Nick Caserio. So we had another trade for a running back. It paid off a couple of years ago with Joe Mixon. Came in and ran for 1,000 yards. Last year they signed Nick Chubb. Ian, this time around it is Montgomery, who we've seen be a very, very effective back in the NFL. Probably has a better opportunity to produce in Houston, which is why the Texans are willing to give up 2 draft picks and an offensive lineman to get him.
Yeah, they certainly were. And you mentioned it. This is something that General Manager Nick Caserio from the Texans has done the last several years. Find a veteran power back, add him in as a complement or potentially more in the case of David Montgomery, and kind of add that element to their team. Now, these trades, you mentioned them, certainly did not exist in a vacuum. You had the first one, which was the Titus Howard going to the Cleveland Browns to bolster an offensive line that they very, very badly need to improve. When I talked to Todd Monken, their head coach, said improving in the trenches was their most important thing. Big piece here with Titus Howard, who gets a new deal. But for the Houston Texans, it really wasn't just getting the 5th-round pick. It was also clearing this money off the books. Remember, they have the Will Anderson contract extension coming up as well. They needed to kind of clear for that and also add some draft pick compensation, and then use some of that, not perfect match, but use some of that to then trade for David Montgomery. And I would say for the Detroit Lions, it was kind of a similar thing. They know Jahmyr Gibbs are going to come up and make a lot of money. Clearing some salary there makes sense. A win-win and some early fireworks as we get ready for free agency.
David Montgomery pushed back on a report over the weekend that indicated that he wanted out of Detroit. That was not the case. However, realistically, he understood what Ian just said there, that he might be moved. And my understanding was if he was traded, this was his preferred destination. And the Lions remained in communication with Montgomery, obviously wanted to do what's best for the team, but at the same time, a guy that had run so hard for them and done so much for them over the last couple of years, wanted to do right by him as well, if possible. Everything came together, and that's why this deal gets done for Houston, who went into last season without Joe Mixon, never had him play last year, so needed to add to the position. Not afraid to go with a veteran running back. Once again, Nick Caserio does that. As for the Titus Howard trade to the Cleveland Browns, they needed to replace Tyler Conklin, who's been banged up for them over the last couple of years. They've got Wyatt Teller, one of the guards, who is going to be a free agent and headed elsewhere. So this Cleveland Browns offensive line is going to look different. And already we know who one of their tackles will be, in this case, in Titus Howard.
That Browns tackle, of course, Jack Conklin. Tyler Conklin is a tight end and fully healthy as of last check, also set to hit free agency. In terms of the running back market.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting with see if David Montgomery and Joe Mixon can be a solid 1-2 punch. I know they were talking about the other running back. I think his name is Starks, but I mean, to my understanding, Joe Mixon is still on that team. So I know he had a serious injury, but it'll be interesting to see what's up with that. Let me actually look into that about Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon. So let's look at what Bleacher Report got to say about this. So David Montgomery reportedly traded to we already saw it. Okay. The Houston Texans are expected to part ways with veteran running back Joe Mixon. Oh, so they're expected to part ways with him. So that's what that is. Okay. And they've quickly found his replacement. Okay, so David Montgomery is going to be a replacement for him. The Athletic, Diana Rossini reported on Monday that the Texans are acquiring star running back David Montgomery from the Detroit Lions. NFL Network's Ian report added that Houston is sending offensive lineman Juice Scruggs, a 4th-round pick, and a 7th. Yeah, we already talked about that. Texas. After he missed the entire 2025 campaign with a foot injury, Wilson added that Houston was looking to explore the high-end free agent running back market, but acquiring Montgomery is an early solution ahead of the start of the new year on March 11th. Montgomery joined the Lions. Yeah, Texas will be right. Two back system Mixon's absence from the 2025 with rookie Woody Marks, who led the team in 783. So, okay. So, yeah, it will be Montgomery and Marks because they're going to go in and release Mixon. Okay. All right. Well, let's look into this. We talked about the NFL Combine a little bit before yesterday. I thought this was going to be interesting.
Yeah,
Which is insane.
Yeah, Kenyon Sadiq ran a 4.39.
Insane.
Not only just that, Eli Stowers jumped 43 and a half inches in the vertical and ran a
that's-
4.5 like one.
That's
Yeah, no, that's. I mean, the combine. I think it was the fastest combine by average in history.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
for every position.
for like damn
Every
near
position
position.
averaged the fastest 40 time in the history of that position in the combine.
It was crazy.
Crazy.
That's
It
wild.
was actually.
Wait,
wild.
let me ask you a question real quick on that. How do y'all feel about like the times and all the measurements? Like, how y'all really feel about that?
I have a take about that. I saw a tweet earlier today. The top 20 fastest wide receiver 40 times out of all of those guys, from 4.32 all the way to that Xavier Worthy 4.21, only one player that is run in the top 20 fastest combine times. Only one of those players has had 1,000-yard receiving season.
And that's what I was going to talk about.
Santana Moss.
All right, quick timeout, people. Look, Prize Picks is America's #1 sports app. And get this, it's the easiest way to win that money while you're watching games. Look, here's how it works. You pick more or less on 2 or more players while watching the games, and then you just lock it in. No spreadsheets, no nonsense. And yo, if player picks aren't your thing, you can also pick teams now. Winners, spreads, totals, all in the same app. Team picks are live in 30 states, including California, Texas, my home state, and Florida. New users, only one code. That's code Speakeasy. Play $5 and get you $50 in lineups for free. Y'all know the vibes. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
My
only player.
My problem is, yo,
Wow.
they have a whole year of football and we skip over that and we go to this combine. And that's why some guys be getting drafted so high and they can't even play. I'm like, yo, why we stop overlooking football? Like Xavier Worthy, guy for Texas, he's okay. He's fast as hell without pads on, because with pads, he don't play as fast as his time. And I don't. It was another kid from Washington back in the day,
John Ross.
John Ross. Like he was. Oh, I'm like,
Yeah.
we got to stop doing that. We got to. Maybe if a really good dominant player in college times well or does good measurements, then let's talk about that, because he's earned the right from his game tape. But since when is like this whole thing is like a pageant where guys just look good and look fast in tights and shirts?
I'm gonna give a hot take. I think the combine's worthless. I'm actually with Shady on this one. I think the combine is worthless. I think the combine doesn't give you the best information. The combine gives you the easiest information to measure.
That's right.
I was talking to a sports psychologist one time. See if y'all can track with me on this. He said, Emmanuel, if you and I go to a restaurant and I walk and I say, yo, E, I lost my keys. Can you come out help me search for them? I say, bet. We walk outside 2-5 to go search for his keys, and he turns to the right and he starts looking under a night light pole, and he starts looking under this light outside, searching for the keys. I'm like, hey, but we came in from the left. And he says to me, I know we came in from the left, but this is easiest to see. That's what the combine is. You're searching where it's easiest to see information as opposed to where you find the information you're looking for. It's easy to measure a 40 time, easy to measure a vert, easy to measure a broad jump, easy to measure a short shuttle. It's not relevant information necessarily. You're not looking for the information that you actually need to acquire. That's on the game tape. But just like it's easier to search under a light for information as opposed to trying to navigate, it's easier to just look at a stopwatch of 40 times and say, oh, well, he's faster than better. But does he play that fast? Michael Penix ran a 4.440. Michael Penix is not a runner. But you're sitting here thinking something. Anthony Richardson's best play in college was a 2-point conversion. But he ran a 4.4, had a 40-inch vert, was 240, and we said, we got to take him in the first 5 picks. And now the Colts were looking for a new quarterback, and they told him to go request a trade.
Yeah.
So to me, the combine is one of the more worthless things that we still do outside of the interviews. I still like the interviews, but outside of the interviews, the measurements don't tell you if a dude can play or not.
I agree that film is the most important thing. I think a lot of people make money at the combine, though. And I think it shows certain things. Now, obviously, the drills, you're going to be able to tell if someone moves stiff based off of the film.
Make money or steal money. There's a difference.
Make money. I think make money. I don't think Jahdae Barron is a top 20 pick last year if he doesn't go to the combine and run a 4.3. He ends up making more money because he goes out there and he shows he can
But
do
now
that.
to the
Film
point,
has to match your
but hold
testing.
on to this point. Jahdae Barron, cornerback out of Texas.
Yes.
He went top 15, if I'm not mistaken, and he only started in dime. That's my little bro.
Yeah.
Number right now. It's my dog. He only started in dime.
Mm.
You shouldn't draft a guy in the top 15 and he not starting base or nickel.
Mm.
So this proves Shady's point.
Yeah.
Why would you draft a guy because he ran a fast 40, but he's not a starter on the field? Shout out to him starting in dime, and he contributed to the team.
The film was great for him, though, too. Like,
Yeah,
he did. I mean, that's my dog.
He won the fort.
I'm just saying, if the point is he got drafted so high because of the 40, then it undermines the point because my dog didn't start in base or nickel. Now, obviously, Pat Surtain is over there as his Rodney
Matthews.
Like, I wouldn't say go that far and say it's a waste of time. Whatever. We talked about this yesterday. My thing on the combine is that it's not the all be all of that should make a break or player, especially when they're coming out of college and in the draft. I don't think that a player should just be drafted high just because he ran a fast 40 or he had a great combine. You got to pay attention to the tape. But with that being said, who's to say that player won't be great going into the NFL? Because there are some guys who weren't all that good in college and they got to get to the NFL and they became really great players. So, some guys who got overlooked in college and they get to the NFL and they were really good. So I'm not going to go ahead and say that a guy shouldn't be drafted high if he had a good combine. I can't think of guys from the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure there are some, and I can do some research on that. Because I remember growing up watching football that there has been some guys who weren't all that good in college and they went to the NFL and they were pretty solid. So, and some guys who had a good combine, most of the time, guys who did have a good combine, they weren't all that good. But some guys who did have a good combine, they went out there, played, competed, and they produced in the NFL. And my thing is about the combine is that I just want to see if a guy can compete. I want to see competition because again, the combine has actually helped guys and helped players. And if I'm the GM or head coach, I want to see, I'm looking more than you just putting up good measurements, good numbers. I'm looking to see, how competitive you are, how committed you are, how locked in are you, and those are the things I'm looking for. Not just can you put up good measurements. I want to see you if you really take this stuff serious. Because if you take football serious, you take this whole draft process serious, you take all of this serious, you're going to take your job serious when you get drafted. And so that's the way I look at it. So I'm not completely opposed to the combine. I do think that it is very well overblown, out of proportion. It always has been. It's entertaining to watch. So that's the thing about the combine. But at the same time, there is some type of meaning to it. And I think it does have some good significance. It's just how you perceive it as a coach, as a player. I mean, as a coach, as a GM. Yeah, even as a player, how you perceive it. Don't think that just because your combine measurements are high, that means you're going to be a great football player. It can play a part in that, but that doesn't automatically mean that. So, and I think it does help. It does help with your game if you can understand how to transition your athleticism into your game. And that just goes in anything. That goes in anything. I mean, even if the combine wasn't a thing, why would you not want to make speed a part of your game? Speed can help. It doesn't hurt. It's just that it's you got to be able to understand how to transition that athleticism into on the field. The guys who does that, the guys who figures that out, the guys who are great at doing that, those are the guys who becomes really great. So that's that. And there's some guys who doesn't run fast 40s, but their football speed is through the roof. I mean, because they understand angles, they understand the game. So, I think if you can really figure it out, like Deion Sanders, he figured it out. Tyreek Hill, he figured it out. Guys like that, Jamar Charles, he figured it out. Chris Johnson, he figured it out. Those guys had great combines. And they went out and they was able to transition that athleticism into the field. Calvin Johnson, he had a great combine. He hit all the measurements. So there are guys who does it. It's just that they got to get the right coaching. They got to have the right training for that their skill set for that athleticism to transition to football, and that's where it's lacking at. And I guess that's because of coaching. I guess so that's my take on that.
Honey Badger, he was talking about like he ran a 4.5. I couldn't believe that.
Mhm.
I'm like, I played against him.
And he's fast.
And he's fast. He covers ground, balls in the air. He's a ball hawk.
Mhm.
And when he does get a pick, he's taking it to the crib.
Mhm.
I'm thinking, like he said, it's hard because I need something to hunt.
Yeah.
And everything on defense is taught, see ball, chase
Yeah,
ball.
ball. Yeah.
And my thing is like, you don't, the combine don't show that.
Yeah.
So I never really liked the combine at all.
What about in the chat? They saying the combines for the fans, like it's entertaining for them. They want to see
I
it.
love
They
that.
like it.
Yeah,
They
that's
get
fine.
it. They get
But
it.
the
Yeah.
problem is, to Shady's point, to Kieran's point, we put too much. The managers put too much stock in the combine.
Yeah.
If it's just for the fans, cool. But like Anthony Richardson would have been drafted where, Kieran, if he doesn't perform at the combine? Like 4th round, 5th round?
That's a good point.
Yeah, they don't like. Yeah, his measurables about like. I mean, he still probably gets drafted higher just because they like
Because
his
it's 6'4",
size.
240.
Yeah.
But
They
like
like his size and
Anthony
athleticism.
Richardson's tape was
Dog,
that of a
yeah.
7th round pick or undrafted. Like
Yeah.
his tape. If we're
His
just being
tape wasn't
honest,
that great.
his tape. No, his tape was atrocious. Let's not be kind. Let's be honest.
Yep.
His tape was atrocious. He was bad. That's what he was.
Yeah, he was.
He had like a 54% completion percentage at Florida in
Yeah.
college. He was bad,
Yeah,
but he was a freak athlete. Thus, he got drafted high.
yeah.
But the problem is, if your tape is bad in college, you finna be bad in the league.
sometimes
Tape is bad in college.
Josh Allen, when you go back and watch him at Wyoming,
Not-
50 something percent of his
but
passes.
remember, he's
and
in
he
Laramie,
is-
Wyoming. He's not throwing to like
That's
NFL
fair. That's
prospects.
fair. That's fair.
Like,
That's
that's what I'm
actually
saying.
true. Yeah.
If your tape is
I
bad,
remember when we drafted him, I remember watching his team like, damn, who he playing with? I
Yeah.
used to always mess with Josh. We had practice. He'll mess the play up. I'm like, well, don't coach, take it easy. I mean, who teaches football in Wyoming?
Yeah.
Think about that, though. Like, who-
Yeah.
Wyoming. So
Yeah. Now, I what about this though? This is another reason why I think the combine is somewhat important. It's an interview, and you showing up to that interview prepared and ready. I think it shows a lot about the type of player that I'm going to get. Did you
Mhm.
actually
I like
prep
that.
for that for those 3 cone drills? Did you actually prep for that 40? Did you prep? Did you come in the best shape that you possibly could? Now I'm looking at as a GM and I'm saying, oh, I can depend on this dude to show up ready whenever training camp comes. He has his questions ready to answer, or he's going to be in this playbook more because he came prepared and he studied for this interview process.
Okay, I was with you when you started, but I thought you was. I disagree because my thing is like, all right, like if I'm watching you, perform,
Yeah,
and you like you're in shape, okay, cool. I like that. That's not gonna make me like draft you higher. You know what I'm saying? Because you're doing a drill. No. And I thought you was gonna talk about like the interview where you go in the room and you talk to the coaches.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right. My thing with that is I would like that. Okay, he's smart kid, this and that and third. But I got a better one for you though. Because I was one of them guys that came out early and they had us do all these different tests. I'm putting anything on there. Because I was like meeting a couple guys like, yo, we out of here, My tape was good enough. And I remember going to the classroom and talking to the Patriots, talking to Andy Reid, and they was like, hey, draw up, certain plays. I'm thinking like, I don't know that. And then you fast forward, I get with Andy Reid. He had good coaching, right?
Yeah.
He got me doing all these different things I never did before. Even blocking, I know how to block really. Then I get to my second year and I'm sharp. Where now I'm in the room and they're asking my different formations to draw up, how to run against different fronts, and I can do it all. So I was thinking like, if you're coached a certain way, you're gonna know it.
Yeah.
But if you judge me before I get that coaching, it's like,
yeah, because clearly you played above where you were drafted.
Yeah.
Do you
for
think
sure.
Do you think though on the flip side, if you would have maybe performed better at the combine?
I didn't do the combine. I was sick.
Oh damn, yeah.
So I went to combine.
Okay.
I like the interview.
Do you think if you did do the combine, you would have been drafted higher?
To Shady's point, didn't Jalen Rager go? Not Jalen Rager, Jalen Carter. Didn't he go to the combine like out of shape, or was it Jordan Davis?
Somebody
went out there and,
Jordan
like,
Davis
threw
was in
up.
great shape. It was Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter went out of the combine and as dominant, and he's a freak, top 2, 3 defensive tackle in football. People wonder, like, Jalen Carter, do you show up? Do this dumb stuff? It's like
I'm different. I'm taking a chance on that. A guy like him, guy like Warren Sapp, I'm taking a chance on dudes.
But even
dudes like Terrell Owens, dudes like Chad Johnson, I want that. I'm taking that. Dudes like Dion, like when you that good, bro, I'm taking that risk.
I'll say this though too.
risk.
I'll say this though too. Manti Te'o, linebacker, Heisman finalist whenever you were
I
in
think
college
he's
or
that good
whatnot.
though.
See, the thing is, the concern about
I do. What about Matt Castle? I don't even think he even started a game in college for USC. And I'm not saying Matt Castle was great, but he did make the Pro Bowl and he played like 13 seasons in the league. I mean, he was solid. I mean, there were guys who were first rounders. They looked like they was going to be great, and they had worse careers than Matt Castle. So that's just one guy that I thought of. I was doing my research and everything, and Matt Castle was solid. He was okay.
Him though, coming into it was, man, he looks a little bit slower. He looks a little bit stiff. Goes to the combine, runs like 4.9 or like 5 seconds. It was awful. And then he ends up getting selected. He's not a good NFL football player whatsoever. Stuff like that is like, I think it confirms.
We knew he wasn't going to be good. The dude had a girlfriend he never seen.
Oh,
What are we talking about?
All right.
You about to go to the NFL? You've never seen her? We talking about our girls. Yeah, yo, my girl, man, I love the way she cooks for me. I love the way she does this. You know, when I have a bad game, she rubs my back. All these different things, right? Or you might complain, oh, my girl, she's mad. She'll be mad at I'm late for dinner. She already cooked. You never seen her. We talking about you gonna be nice in the league? What?
Who?
You know what that means? That means you gonna be lied to. They're gonna do a play action. You gonna fall for it because you believe anything.
I do.
It started off shaky.
Yeah, so I mean, this draft is very underwhelming. It's not a lot. I mean, it's kind of interesting though because the players coming out of college are not all that coming into this draft. Coming out of college to this draft, I think this is one of the least talented drafts for like past few years. But a lot of these guys are going crazy at the combine. So this is going to be very interesting. I didn't know that this was the fastest combine. I think they said in NFL history or something like that. So that's going to be interesting. A lot of these guys are running blazing fast 40s with underwhelming tape. And it's going to be interesting to see like how great these guys are going to be on the field. It's going to be very interesting within the next 10 years. So, yeah. Next year, I think next year's draft is going to be very exciting. I think next year's draft is extremely talented. It's very talented, and there's some great players coming out of college next year's draft 2027. So keep an eye out on that. And I'm definitely going to have to watch a lot of definitely going to watch college football this year, watching all of it. So I can keep up with these guys, especially for next year's draft, and not be behind like I was this year. Yeah, I mean, we talk about Jeremiah Smith and some other guys, some other wide receivers. I think it's going to be a really great quarterback draft too. I think there's some great quarterbacks coming out next year and some great wide receivers. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting draft next year. Very talented draft. I remember when the draft from Caleb Williams and all them was coming out. That was a very talented draft as well. There was a lot of great guys coming out of that draft. And so I think this draft in 2027 is more talented than that draft. So I'm gonna definitely be doing my research on that on these college players, read some reports and some articles on those guys, some more on those guys. And yeah, the NFL draft this year it's not too far. It's right on the corner, a little bit over a month. So yeah, I'll keep you all up to date on certain things, on certain NFL news. And that's it for right now. I'm gonna jump off. If you want more, you know where to find me. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll be back very soon. We're gonna be here all day. No days off. Deuces.